Joining me now is the Congresswoman from New York, Nydia Velazquez. Seated alongside her is Jessica. She is the mother of Jaideliz. Jaideliz is the 13-year-old girl from Vieques who died, and her family tributes her death, really, to a lack of medical care on the island, to good quality medical care. So, Congresswoman, why don't you start? Why did you invite Jessica to be your guest at the State of the Union tonight?
Well, this is for me an opportunity to put a human face to the actions taken by President Trump when he decided to withhold money that was illegally appropriated by the Congress, and he decided not to release the money that would have saved Jaideliz. The fact that in the richest, most powerful country in the world, we have American citizens without a functional hospital is outrageous. This, after the Congress appropriated that money, is immoral. And that is not the American way.
Do you have an opportunity to introduce her to someone tonight? Other than making her your guest, do you have a chance to sort of put her in front of power players and help them understand that these are the faces of the 9,000 United States citizens who are so desperately in need of basic medical care? And I want everyone watching to understand, if you haven't already heard, and Congresswoman, just oblige me for a moment. We're talking about a hospital that is not a hospital like you think of it. It is a clinic that is in a school. And when you walk in there, they have the bare necessities. They do have a couple of doctors. But in Jaideliz's condition, her family was asked to contribute to CPR. Can you imagine if you were asked that when your loved one was dying? They also didn't have some of the medical instruments. And Congresswoman, maybe you can speak more to that. What was needed that they didn't have at the time Jaideliz went into the hospital?
They didn't have the appropriate medicine. They didn't have the proper equipment, ventilators. What else?
Defibrillators.
Defibrillators. She was having seizures, and they didn't have any type of equipment that was appropriate for that type of condition. So you can imagine what a message are we sending to American citizens? You are on your own, and there's no responsibility. This after we appropriated the money 2 years later. It just yes. Jessica will have the opportunity to meet Nancy Pelosi, to meet David Price, that is the chairman of the subcommittee that has jurisdiction over FEMA money and HUD money. She will meet also Rosa DeLauro and Nita Lowey. I want for them to be able to hear the story that Jessica has to share.
You know, the reason there isn't a hospital is because Hurricane Maria 2.5 years ago destroyed the one that they had. So they have been without. And you should know that a week after Jessica died, FEMA announced $39.5 million was going to go toward building a better medical facility.
David,
yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
That happened because I asked Nita Lowey to coordinate a meeting and to bring FEMA, the associate administrator, to that meeting with all the appropriators, Democratic appropriators, and the chairman of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, as well as other members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. That day, I told him that they were responsible because I sent them for 2 years 3 letters, one signed with Jennifer Gonzalez, another with Elizabeth Warren, and one previously that I sent to by myself, asking to please expedite the disbursement of this money because it represented life and death issue for the people of Vieques.
You all should know, if you're just watching and you don't know, the Congresswoman has a deep passion for issues involving Puerto Rico because she is Puerto Rican. She is originally from Jabucoa, Puerto Rico, and Jabucoa is where Hurricane Maria initially made landfall when it entered the island of Puerto Rico. So, Congresswoman, if you may help me with the translation,
Sure.
Jessica died in January. Does her mother know as of today the cause of death?
Que si sabe en el día de hoy la causa de la muerte.
Sí. Mi niña murió a causa de un aneurisma cerebral.
So she died as a result of an aneurysm.
El 40% de las personas que padecen de aneurisma cerebral pueden sobrevivir y mi niña no tuvo esa oportunidad.
She's saying that 40% of people who suffer from natural aneurysm has an opportunity to survive, and that her daughter was robbed of that opportunity.
So she died as an aneurysm. That is, she got that. She was notified of that. I wasn't aware of that until now. So that is brand new information.
David, this is the first time today that she shared the results of the autopsy.
Understood.
Yes.
Understood. Congresswoman, there will be people watching this, and I want you to be able to respond to those who say, listen, the government has done a poor job of mismanaging money, and there are allegations of corruption, and so the Trump administration has been right to withhold money or to put people in place to monitor it. What would you say to those people?
Well, I would say two things. Every time that there is a natural disaster and that money is appropriated, yes, there are issues with mismanagement. But what you see happening in Puerto Rico is not much at a greater compared to other states like Texas and Florida. And by the way, David, the people that were arrested in Puerto Rico were FEMA officials related to money that was appropriated for disaster relief. They were not Puerto Ricans. They were American officials that were working for FEMA. So the president, who is always lying, continues to lie about who were the ones misbehaving and who committed this type of allegations.
Just to fill in the context of what the Congresswoman is saying, there was a FEMA official who was arrested by the FBI and is facing prosecution. She is the only official who has been arrested sort of in terms of handling federal aid. No local Puerto Rico officials have. It was only her representing the federal government. She is currently awaiting trial. So I just wanted to clear that up. Congresswoman, finish this statement for me. Jessica and Jaideliz represent... Can you hear me?
No,
Let me try one more time. Finish this statement for me. Jessica and Jaideliz represent
the human tragedy of this administration and the actions taken by this administration, withholding federal money that was appropriated by the Congress of the United States to rebuild and to build a new facility in health facility in Vieques.
Last question will go to Jessica. Why did you want to be here in Washington tonight?
¿Por qué tú quieres estar aquí?
Para que tome acción inmediata. Que el presidente de Estados Unidos se haga responsable, al igual que la gobernadora de Puerto Rico y el secretario de Salud y la administradora del Hospital de Vieques. Todos ellos, incluyendo el presidente, son responsables de la muerte de mi niña y no han tomado acción.
She's calling for immediate action by the federal administration, particularly the President of the United States, as well as government officials in Puerto Rico. She wants this for the people of Vieques to be treated with dignity, and that they has the responsibility to provide health care services like they do here.
Understood. Listen, I thank you for sharing your story. And I will end with this. There'll be some news coming out soon that Vieques Love, which is a charity which has been doing an incredible amount of work to help the people of Vieques, has actually come up with the money necessary to purchase a ventilator for the ambulance. And so I tell you that story only to help you, those of you watching, to understand how critical, no pun intended, how critical the needs are on Vieques. Lay people are raising money to equip the ambulance in town because they're having to take it into their own hands because they do not feel like they can rely on the island's government to adequately provide care. I just want you to understand that. So, Congresswoman, I thank you. Jessica, I thank you. And I again send you my sincerest condolences.
Yes.
Thank you both.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much.
Thank you both. Okay, Alex, this could